Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fabi and Sylvie TV. I'm Fabi.
I'm Sylvie.
I know you're probably wondering why we're so excited. And if you are one of our favies, welcome back. And to our new viewers, you're watching season 1, episode 9 of our Shush Let's Talk Anonymous series. And this season, we mostly focus on one, getting to know each other's, and you guys getting to know us too, right?
Mhm.
And another thing we focused on this season was in regards to relationships. So we've covered quite a bit. So if you're new, once again, welcome. But go back and get to know us and let us know what you can learn or achieve your comments, because this is all about our point of view and perspective, right, Sylvie? So
Yep. Yes, episode 9. So you have to understand why I'm super excited because, from 1, now we all the way till 9. Wow. So to me, it's like, wow, we getting there. One more episode, and then this is the end of our season. So I hope that for those
yeah.
of us who just join us, subscribe, but also go back during the holiday break, right? Holiday spirit is moving you, and then you say, you know what, let me watch Fabi and Sylvie TV, let me do some catching up.
Mhm. That's it. So we're going to jump right into it. And as you know, we always ask 1 or 2 questions before we get into the subject. And I have a couple questions for you today, Sylvie. So one of the questions is actually, I don't know, because it's not really a question. Well, it is a question, but it may demand quite a bit about you. Um, so we have to share a secret about ourselves to the people. Yes, it's a secret. It's not something nobody knows about you. That's what makes it a secret, right? I've been good the past couple of episodes, and I've been very mellow, so I had to bump it up a bit. I had to, we gotta finish season 1 with a cliffhanger, right?
um I'm thinking, right? I really, what is a secret that I can share with the audience, our favies? Nah, I don't know, Fab. Maybe you guys are gonna have to wait until season 2. I'm thinking about it, but I think favors, you have to forgive me. I'm the energetic one, and a little. But I think we're gonna have to wait for season 2 for Sylvie to disclose a secret. Yeah, about that, I'll let you go first, cuz you could go first.
To be honest with you, I just found this as the countdown. And it was the first thing I saw, and I said it. So I haven't even thought about something that I don't know. And you're right. It does give us time to actually think about. But, we got to do things spontaneously and putting ourselves out there. So we can't do too much thinking. But yeah, maybe that's something we can do um, to bring in our second season too. So, okay, so we'll scratch that question. We'll leave it pending. So, babies, if you see that we go into season 2 and we're not coming back to this question, make sure you call us out on it.
They will. Don't worry. Somebody will call out and say, hello, Sylvie, you need to share that secret already.
Secret.
Stop playing with us.
Mhm.
Okay? We waiting season 2. We waiting.
So, okay, so here's a question.
Mhm.
What significant event that has caused a positive change in you as a person?
Honestly, cuz I can tell you that ever since we did that episode about forgiveness, your girl here, I'm giving you the feedback. I have been practicing forgiveness on the low, like low, low. And that's the importance of having a growth mindset, because
Mhm.
I push myself to go there, which is forgiveness, where I was not willing to touch at all because I thought in my mind, it's a done deal. I know, what it's supposed to be, or at least why am I supposed to forgive people? And for those of us who've been following us, obviously our favies, you already know, episode, I think it was 2, 3, Sylvie was not doing it. I'm like, no, forgiveness. Yeah, right, please, bye. But, talking to cuz and really being open with all of you guys, your comments and sharing with us and things of that nature, I realized, I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? Let me really try. So I did try. I actually reached out to that person that, remember, I was talking about, 7.
I'm about to cry here. I need my bill.
So the person that was a 7 on my list of
Mhm.
people that have hurt me, and also that I have been a perpetrator, but obviously, when you do the perpetrating, you don't really see it until it's brought up to your attention. So I realized that, and I reached out to a middle ground person. So basically, I reached out to a friend that knows both of us, and I explained the situation, and it was like, you know what, that's good. I think it's a good step for you. And I realized a whole lot. I forgive that person right there and then, because bottom line, I don't know. I feel that in my life I've been blessed, and I'm grateful for the people that I have around me, right? Family, loved one, very close friends. And I realized, why am I holding on to this? And then I kind of felt bad. I felt bad because it's just so happened that I found out about a person's life currently, and it's not where I expected them to be, right? They're not doing so well. So, with that said, I'm kind of guilty because I forgive them right away, but in the same token, I felt bad. I don't know why. Like, it kind of hit me because I expected the person to be so much more and do so much more in their life, because when we met, that's who they were. That's the energy that they brought
Mhm.
on to
Mhm.
me. And after all these years, to realize that, and actually see that happiness has gone from their face,
Life happened.
where they're not where they were supposed to or wanted to be. I said, oh my God, I have to forgive. Like, I felt guilty, but also I was able to forgive, and I was able to relinquish all of those feelings right away. And I'm not saying it was easy, guys. It wasn't easy. It took me some time, because whoever was watching, you already know, cuz really put it on me on that episode. She was all over me. Like, ugh. Okay. So I was like, nope, 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 no, I don't know. What is that supposed to look like? And bottom line is, I tried. I pushed myself to do it. And I'm actually proud of myself because I did it. And now I see what she was talking about. I see what you were talking about, cuz as far as the feelings where you bring more happiness to yourself, you're not forgiving because you know that the other person is struggling. No, you're forgiving more so that the happiness, it does
Mhm.
take that load off of you, where it may not be physically, but spiritually, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, you
And
feel it.
that's one of the key things. And
Hmm.
I'm grateful for our growth. And I'm grateful for the time that we do, because these are conversations that needs to happen, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of times we don't get a chance to, not that we don't know, because we're so wrapped around what's happening in our lives, we forget to take a step back and look at what's happening, right? And that's why I kept saying, it's like, well, I don't feel like nothing's on my shoulder. And it's like, you wouldn't, because of the fact that it's been happening, it's been so long, you don't know if you're carrying a load. A load is not the physical, or like, I don't think about this person every day. I go about my life. No, you've adjusted to your life. You've adjusted to what happens, right? So I'm really, really happy that you took that first step. And that's what I said. It only takes one. And it will
Hmm.
happen after. Like, the next one may not be till next year, or it may be next week. Who knows? But the fact that you took that first step, you're adapting, you're growing from it. And they feel like, okay, imagine if I actually got rid of all these things, what would that look like for you? Right? And then
Right.
you start visualizing, and you're like, I want more dose of this. I want more, right? Like, wow, is this what this could look like?
Yeah.
Have I been feeding myself from this kind of happiness, this kind of mental peace, true peace, right? So that is amazing. And for me, just going back into the question, it has to be this year, right? A lot has happened, a lot of growth has happened. And I think I've used this time and even us chatting to get like big sister point of view on different things. Um, it's big. Like obviously you're my cousin, but you're more like a big sister to me more than anything. I think our families kind of wrapped around like that. And it makes it worth it to be able to say, okay, these are the different point of views, and we share them and we look at them and we truly want each other to grow and build. And that's big. That's big within itself. It's like, I want you to succeed. Like, I'm really rooting for you. And you don't find that a lot. A lot of times they're like, families on that bring you down because it's like, if I'm here, you need to be here. You can't be here. And meanwhile, it's like, I'm here. Come meet me here so we could grow together, right? So, so I think that is rare, and I don't take that for granted at all. I truly do not take it for granted to know that we have that bond. And like they say, when things are perfect, you pray harder because the devil's busy. So you don't want to listen. The devil's busy.
Yes.
So you don't ever want to leave a little gap or a room open for anything. So yeah, Faith is like, Sylvie's always with the homework. Even though we're not into our subject yet, I do want you guys to give your feedback on it. What significant event has happened in your life? Clearly, we're all in a pandemic. So, but even if it's not the pandemic, what significant event has happened in your life that actually changed you, who you are as a person? So,
And
that would
again,
help.
okay. And again, we are going in through this holiday season, holiday spirit. Some people get the holiday spirit coming on. I think that it's a great
Mm-hmm.
time to reflect, to meditate, to really think about, what has happened this whole year. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are already doing that, but really doing it, right? Really, really
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Because a lot of people say, yeah, I reflected, I thought about it. No, like there's a certain time that you allow yourself where you are unplugging from everything else and everybody else, and you really
Yeah.
reflect and take the time to say, okay, I'm counting my blessing. I am grateful for X, Y, and Z. So far, what are the good things that happen in my life? What are the good things that I look forward to happen in my life in the future? What can I improve on? Right? And what did not
Mm-hmm.
work so well that I can make work better? So for me, I think that is really, really, really a very important part, especially because I kind of sort of tend to be the Grinch around the holiday. I really do. I'm happy for everybody. Don't get me wrong, Fabies. I'm happy for all of y'all. But Sylvie kind of like, okay, now, bye, go over there, and I'm gonna stay in my corner. And I need to think, right? I turn into the Grinch, real life, for real. And I just don't want to hear, "Eee." I don't know. It's just me personally. So that's something I'm sharing with you. But other than that, I'm so grateful that, we get to see another day, with everything that's going on. So, yep.
No, and I agree. And I think this is one of the best intros that we've had because it shows that we're honestly being transparent with you guys from the beginning. And like I said, even with the question that we asked about the secret, I literally searched for a question as we're counting down, just so it's as much as a surprise. So it's not like, let me find out. Like, it wouldn't be fair to Sylvie, right? Like, to be like, I have
When
it
do
all
you get
prepped
to be
out. No,
fair?
I literally, as I'm reading them, I'm thinking on what I'm going to say as well to get both reactions. So sometimes I don't really know in terms of what we have. It's just free spirited, and we go with the flow, in other words.
No.
So it is now time to go to number 7 and 8, I think.
7 and 8, sis. Knock it
7 and 8,
out.
9. No, 7 and 8, because then we're going to do 9 and 10 for our last episode. That's right.
Exactly. Yep.
So if you guys remember, last time we met, we spoke about fears and I think the needs of the relationship, right? So
Yeah.
as we go into 7 to have your lasting relationship, whether it's long distance, because a lot of you guys have quarantine paid for the holidays. I mean, I don't know what's happening if your country. Yeah, like a lot of people chose to quarantine together with their significant other so they didn't have to, be apart. So how's that happening if you are quarantining with your significant other right now?
Mhm.
So another thing that we talked about was
Quarantine Bay. How you doing, Quarantine Bay?
actually we're not even at 7 and 8. We were at 4. We were at
What?
3 and 4.
No.
Anyway, we're gonna go into 5, 6, 7, hopefully. Okay, so the first one, because we talked about the needs and the fears. So what goes right? If you had to guess, what go next after fears, right? Sometimes you think about your first arguments, right? So your fighting style. So one thing I wanted to mention to you guys, yesterday, last time we met, our last episode, episode 8, we spoke a lot about the needs of the relationship, right? So knowing who the person is, their, their style. So a lot of things like knowing your love language, right? And it's almost as if a lot of people don't know what their love language are, right? So you have to kind of discover that because a lot of people, there are 5 different love languages, and you have to learn that. And a lot of times people struggle with knowing what it is because as we go into the fighting styles, a lot of people are not as like they want time to process. A lot of people are verbal. A lot of people want affection, like they want that touch. Like there's a lot. So I'm not even gonna go through the whole 5 different ways to acknowledge, but find out what that person love language is. Because a lot of times you're like, you're not listening to me, but that person really wants time to themselves, and there are ways to deal with it. And I think when you guys find out how to communicate with each other, and you spoke about that, Sylvia, a lot about communication, and the first step of communication, knowing how to communicate with
Mhm.
that person, because you can't communicate the same with everybody. It won't work.
So
How
then,
you choose to be, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so then, not to cut you off. So then, can we give an example? Like I think you just did just now briefly, but can we give an example? What would be a definition, or like what's an example of love language? Because when you said there are 5, I'm curious as to what are the 5, or at least one of them, so that I have an idea, so I can visualize, like, because I
Okay.
know for me what it would
So,
be.
okay. So the 5 love languages, um, there's actually a book about it, right? And if I had to go in regards to what they are,
Mm-hmm.
the first one is words of affirmation. And I am actually Googling it as I'm on the phone with you right now. So from the mindbodygreen.com, the first one, based on their site, the first one is words of affirmation. So a lot of people like frequent I love yous. They want compliments, they want appreciations, things like that, right? And then you have quality time. There are people, they want to be able to give you the attention, right? That's what you want. Is that what you do, or is that what you expect?
No, that's what I need. Quality time. I am very needy. I need attention. I am needy. Do you hear out there in the future?
I'm very needy. Sylvie. So yeah, so quality time. And that means that person is you're giving your undivided attention to that one specific person. There's no television, there's no phones, there's no outside. So it's just us, like we're dedicating our time to that. And then there's acts of service, right? So a lot of people will be like, I thought about you, you're sick, so I'm bringing you soup, or I got you flowers just because it's Tuesday. Okay, so you got too much.
No, that's what I do in turn. I do that for people. I do
Okay,
that
so you're an
for
act of
others.
service. That's how you
Yes.
show your love and
Yes.
appreciation.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's the gifts. So the act of service is not the same as the gifts. So acts of service because you're actually making coffee for the person in the morning, picking up dry cleaning. So like you're doing things for that person. And then there's the gifts where the person is like a visual symbol of love, right? So you like to shower the person with gifts and just, just
Yeah,
because.
that's not me. That's
And then there's the physical touch. So the physical touch is that you want the holding hands, you want the kissing, you want the cuddling on the couch, like you want
yes.
that physical touch to feel
Yes.
safe or whatever case might be.
Yes.
So those are what it is, right? Like um it took me a while, and I think I'm still learning as we go, and I think you change who you are and what you do as you get older. It depends, right? I think growing up, I always wanted to, the words of affirmation meant was something that I needed. That was kind of like my basic needs. I kind of need to know where you are, speak words to me. But
Mhm.
then as I grew older, I'm like, man, these ain't nothing. Like words don't even mean nothing. Like I need action. Stop selling me dreams. I need actions, right? We're being honest, right? And I'm just saying. So at one point, it felt like the words, if your actions, is like you can't say you love me and then you act in a certain type of way. So I think the acts of service and other things, gifts. Okay, so here's a secret. I think Andrew's love language is acts of service because he's the kind of person like yeah, because like he will bring like when we're here, he'll bring me like tea, he'll bring me water,
Why are you
he'll
talking so low? Why are you talking so
because
low?
I
Like
don't
you don't
want
want
him
him
to
to hear
hear
it.
that I'm putting him out there. And then by the time
He gonna get
no,
you.
but I truly think that's kind
His
of like
love
his love
language.
language. He's not the overly like, oh babe, you are the most beautiful woman in the world. He's not. That's not him. Like the service, act of service to show his appreciation. That's what he is. Things like that. Um, if I had to say what I am, I
Yeah,
don't
what are
know. I
you?
think if
What
you had
are
to
you?
guess, what do you think I am?
I think you more of the quality time.
I think I'm between.
Quality time and service
I
also as
think
well.
physical touch and quality time. I
Yes.
think I'm a little bit of all of them, to be honest with you.
Eh,
But if in terms of me, I
mhm.
think quality time means a lot, and physical touch. Like yeah, I want to cuddle. I want to fall
Yeah,
asleep
okay.
on
We know
you.
you touching and feeling all day long with your
N-
husband.
I That's
Which
what it is. So, as we talk about our five love languages, there's the upside that people don't like talking about, right? So, there's the now that we're dating at this point, right? We're already dating, and they say it's not real till we have our first argument because of the fact that you've already, the honeymoon stage is over. Now you're really getting to know the person. It's like you ain't called on time, you showed up late, whatever it is, but there's the first argument. So what does that fighting style looks like, right? So there will be a bump in the road. And a lot of times people are like, oh, we don't argue. And I'm like, I want to argue. Argue to the okay, so this is my why not? Like you get to know how the person is, who they are, and if their true color shows, do they say meaningful, hurtful things to you, and things like that. So one thing that we always had is a kind of like a rule, and it was almost like there's no breaking up because if we break up to make up, I don't go back, and I think I've mentioned that before.
wait, you
If
don't
we
do
get
the breakup makeup SCX section? What?
if we get to the point where we call it quits from either one of us, I feel like you've been thinking about it for a long time, and and therefore if you get to that point of saying like maybe we should take a break, then I feel like I don't want to go back to that because I'm looking for a long term. And if we're married, are you just going to walk away and leave the house? No. So one thing that I've done, regardless, it gotten me this far, I'm just going to say it like that. I don't know if it works or not, but that's just what I've done. I don't go back. For
Yeah, me
some
too. I
reason,
don't
I've
like that.
always told myself, if we get to the point of saying it's over, then we didn't get a chance to try. You weren't willing to try. Not after to be like, well, I thought about it. I needed to do some growing up. No, like, and sometimes it works for people, right? Where it's like, well, you came at the wrong time in my life. I feel like if we get to that point, it wasn't who God wanted for me at this point. That's just how I feel. But in regards to like fighting styles, right? It talks about the solution is not to avoid tough conversation, but instead learning to fight fair. So a lot of the times people have that honeymoon stage. And this is why when we talked about the needs, I told you our last episode, I
Yeah.
struggled with it, Sylvie, because I was like, well, if don't it sound like you're too needy? Because you're like, okay, I want to be safe. I want honesty. I want this. And it just feel like you're too needy right at the bat. But if you set those boundaries and you set those needs at the beginning, it makes fighting tough conversation easy. It's not like, well, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? And then it's like 3, 4, 5 months down the road, we're still on, I know your middle name, but then we've never asked those hard questions.
Hmm.
And we rob ourselves those times that we'll never get back. Especially now, we're all adults. We're not in college, university. We're not even college, university. At this point, you're finding out who you are. There's no time to be wasting on that, right? So like I'm saying, it's not grade school relationship where you're like, well, we have time to get to know, no rush. At this point, I'm not saying in the first 2, 3, 4 months you would know what you're into. It shouldn't even take that long. Have those tough conversations, because at this point you're dedicating a lot of time to this. You're answering the phone calls, you're texting, good morning, beautiful, how's your day, how's your night. You're having that. So yes, ask those tough conversations. And if a person feel like it's too challenging for you, then it's not making you think, it's not challenging you. And remember, I always said I want a challenge. And when I saw that about the fighting styles, a lot of times we avoid fights. We avoid asking questions because we don't want to know what those words going to be, because it's like, I'm falling for this person. If they say the wrong thing, it's going to turn me off, so I'm just going to avoid it.
But let me
We
ask
do
you,
that to ourselves a lot.
but let me ask you a question though, because you just said something that I grasped to just now, real quick. So avoiding those conversation with the person, the individual, right? So in your case, is hubby, right? But obviously, before he was hubby, he was fiance. Before fiance, dating, getting to know each other, best friend, right? So in whatever relationship stages where you were, how was it for you in a sense? And I'm asking all of us here live, our favies, right? When you're just getting to know somebody and you asking those tough questions kind of early on, right? For within the first month, but the person is kind of redirecting, meaning that their responses is not necessarily straightforward, direct, where it's a yes or a no. It's more so, wow, this is what you were thinking about, or it's more going around. Where does that put you back to? Like
Well,
do you
I think it's okay. So this, I always talk about the inspirational moments, right? We always throw one out there, and it says, it's a quote I always live by. It says, if you keep praying for the same thing, you're not getting it. Change your prayer. And you're probably thinking, well, what does that have to do with me asking a person a tough question? It's the same thing. If you keep trying, you're not getting it. Change your question. Don't leave an overhanded question where it's like, it's simple. Do you see yourself getting married? Well, today's not. So if you had to give yourself a time, when would you get married? You better crime scene investigate detective that person and ask the same question 10 different times without them even knowing that you just asked the same question 10 different times to get the answer you want. Sometimes they give you the exact answer you're looking for. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. When you ask the question, they give you the answer. You're looking for the question that the answer that you want. They answered,
Bingo.
and that's what. If
Bingo.
I learned anything from my guy cousins, my brother, anybody as a guy, they will tell you when you ask the guy a question, they're going to be 100% honest with you. You choose to overlook it because that's not the answer you're looking for. You're like, well, no, they're going around. They're not going to be honest. Like, well, I don't know. And sometimes they truly don't know, and it's almost like, do I have time to sit around and wait for you to know, or do I not? And sometimes we settle. A lot of the times we settle because now we're already like this person. We're wanting to give them this. Well, no pressure. No, because going into whatever relationship, we have a visual of what that looks like. It doesn't mean that it's gonna go by a timeline. Like it's a checklist.
Yeah, but
But
I
for
usually.
one, as I read that they said um a person should not be in a relationship longer than a year or a year and a half without the person proposing. And I was like, what?
What?
I was shook. Like, listen, I was shook, okay?
Who
I said,
says
what do
that?
you mean? A lot of people have long relationships and they still end up dating and getting married or whatever the case might be. And they said, a guy know if he's going to wife you within the first 6 weeks of talking to you. And
Yes.
I was like,
No,
so
no, no.
I went
I
to
agree
Andrew.
with
I
that.
said, so you knew, when did you know? And that's kind of question. When did you know I was the one? When did you know you wanted to marry me? And he told me, before you were my girl, I knew I wanted to marry you. How I was going to be able to marry you, the where I was in life pushed me back, and things probably happened where I felt like I didn't deserve you or you were too good for me, held me back. But I knew I wanted to be with you.
Yes, I like the fact that AJ Andrew said that. That's his nickname, yo. I just put you out there. Brother-in-law,
It's
please
okay. I
don't
think
kill me.
they've heard both.
Hey, don't kill me. But yes, that is true because a man, and I want to say a woman too, a man or woman, female, men, they know exactly what they want if they want to marry you right off the back. They will look at you and be like, no, I think this is the one. She is the one, he is the one, whoever, they are the one for me. They know very directly, straightforwardly early on. And that's why I wanted to bring that up because as you saying that, I'm thinking in my mind and I'm like, you know what? That is true because most of the time we look for the answers and we take the we expecting an answer, but they already give us the answer. It might have not have been so direct with a yes or a
Mhm.
no, but they give us an answer to our question, even though it wasn't the
Active
way.
listening.
Exactly, after listening. And a lot of times too, you take that away and you say, well, I'm still waiting for a response. No, don't wait for a response because they did give you a response. It's just not the one that you expected or that you wanted as far as a
Want.
yes it is or no it is not. Because we always into that yes or no. We never try to do in between or we never try to frame response. We never want to accept responses that are framed in a way where it's not saying no, it's not saying yes, but it is responding to you. It's responding to you. And the fact that it's responding to you without saying yes or no, that means that the person is not trying to be direct with you. They're giving you an answer that is not what you're looking for, but essentially and directly, they're answering your question. Well, if they cannot tell you yes directly, then it's a no. They're just not telling you the no. That's how I see it. Because
No, and that's true. And after I thought about it, I said, you know what? That's really true because then what are you waiting for? A lot of times they're like, well, we don't want to propose because of the fact that it's different with a person talking marriage with you versus a person who's like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And we're like year one, year two. Because another person could be like, babe, I'm not where I need to be. We're not where we need to be. So going into a marriage, we want to make sure that we're financially stable and that we're okay. That's different because you hear it in the conversation. What would your dream house look like? What would your dream wedding look like? What kind of rings that you like? That's a person planning a future with you. How many kids do you want? Because sometimes it's not always, you'll be surprised. Guys have asked a lot of tough questions. It's not about girls like, we gotta ask this, you fit the checklist. A lot of times it's like, could I bring you home to my mom? And like I told you, like Andrew's the youngest, okay? So I would just leave it at that. Like, he is the youngest, and that's mama baby. And and to be honest with you, I was kind of like, I was afraid at first because I'm like, I ain't gonna beat your mama. Okay. So if you look, not your mama, not trying to be, don't want to be. So they look at those, we spoke about characteristics and different things too. They, the same way they always say, like, girls look out for a guy to be like their father, kind of to look up
Mm-hmm.
to sometimes. And it's the same thing for them. They want to make sure that, you know, that it's good and it's there. So I do agree that the fighting style, the fighting style is important. And a lot of times people don't feel like, oh, it's perfect. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But I think you got to get that in early and knowing how to deal with it. Because Sylvie, I'm the kind of person, if I'm upset, I need my 5 minutes. I need like my moment, give me
Of
my
course.
moment. I'm just going to shut down. You could be speaking for hours, then you're not, I'm shut down. I don't like people screaming at me. I'm grateful that I became the youngest. I think my other siblings got all the screaming because by the time it came down to me, I I didn't get it. I automatically shut down, right? So I didn't get that screaming 24/7 or beating 24/7. I wasn't raised like that. So ideally, the minute I feel like you're screaming at me or you're raising your voice, I've shut down. I do not hear a word you say. It comes in one ear, not the other. Actually, you probably don't even enter one ear to go out the other because your talk. I'm so serious, and that goes everywhere. Whether I was in school or whatever it is, I can't tolerate a person yelling at me. You've lost me. So the same, it's like you're not listening to me. I feel like if you're not listening to me, then this conversation is over. The minute I will end it with this conversation is over, that's letting you know anything you say after that, I'm gone. I'm done for. And but the thing is too, it was a challenge for Andrew and I because he's very quiet and he's not argumentative. And it's like, I want you to know what I feel and how you make me feel. I'm gonna tell you how you make me feel. I'm not gonna hold it in. And he needs his moment. He's the kind of person like, but why are we arguing? What you mean why? This is why he's not that. And he's the one be like, we need to pray because Satan is not welcome in this household. Oh man, that be pissing me off even more. It's like, what you trying to say? I'm the devil's child? Like, what are you saying? But he is not argumentative. He'll be the one to be like, he'll go for a walk and come back and act like everything's all good. It's like, no, we're gonna talk about this, and this is what happened. We need to know how to deal with it. But it took a lot to get there, a lot, because
Right.
like I said, we didn't know each other's love languages. We didn't know our fighting styles. And at moments like you have to hear everything that I have to say, but he's the kind of person he needs to go and think about it and let it process and come back. He's not in the I attack you, you attack me. Sometimes it just feel like I'm talking to myself, and then it kind of makes you. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. And then it's like it kind of makes you feel like, are you listening to me? It's like, yeah, I heard everything you said. But it's like, what did I say? Because I feel like you're not listening to me. He wouldn't be like on his phone or anything. He'll actually be here with me. But
He's
he'll be
so
like, okay,
quiet.
I heard what
He's
you
so
said.
calm.
And then he'll end it with like, okay, I heard what you said.
That's not
And
enough
that
for
used
me.
to
I would go
piss me
crazy.
off, Sylvie. That used to piss me off. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're not going to say anything. I said everything. It's almost like you write a paragraph and the person texts okay. Imagine the person saying that live. and that's all you have to say. But I've learned that his ways are, I have to go process it and then I'm ready to talk. And then that's his act of service, because then he'll bring something, not like go buy a gift as in a makeup, no, more or less on, it's late night, we have our Netflix and movies, right? It's like I'll make popcorn or I'll bring tea for you to go to sleep, and I'll bring something, and it's like,
No,
I
leave him
really wanted some
alone.
popcorn, so I guess. And,
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. I'm fighting for you,
but
baby. I
like
got
I
your back.
said, I didn't know. Didn't know. We didn't get a chance to learn each other to get to the point where it's like he needs his moment and I need my moment. And then now it's like, we both are screaming. Nothing's happening. You're not listening to each other. So, like we're
So,
mad for nothing. Just like Neil's song Mad, right? Like,
so wait. So my fingers are going where these will be the question. Ding, 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 ding. Right? Homework question where what is your love language? Right? What are your
yes,
discussion style? I don't want to say fighting style, kind of, sort of, because I feel like it's like fighting, like, we boxing, but more so, what would be your approach to disagreement? What would be your approach style as far as when disagreement come, right, into the relationship? How do you each approach it? That's a very good thing to know about each other, about yourself. And again, what is your love language? So those will be your homework questions before we take a quick little break, because we have to take a break as always.
yes.
So I just wanted to make sure I give you your homework so that we could go and take a quick little break. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
You
So
always
I'm
got
gonna do
me.
the other two are really quickly before we get into the question of the day.
Did you
Are
just see
you
what
okay?
happened? I can't.
Are you okay?
I am okay. Just the light just fell.
Oh my
Guys,
goodness.
forgive me. Forgive me. I guess it's the whole excitement of episode 9, and then it's going crazy out
Oh,
here,
jeez.
over here. Go ahead, Fab. Ignore me.
So we're going to go into the two more. They're pretty quick before we go into our question of the day. So it says spending habit. And that's one thing as we start dating, I look out for. So like you'll talk about like, are you a saver? What do you spend your money on? And it's, you need to know these kind of things before you feel like you're in a relationship and you guys are building or even getting married or whatever. A lot of people wait until they're engaged and they start putting their orders in affairs. Like, do you have debts? Do you have a lot of things? Because a lot of times you don't even have to come straight out and ask what's your debt, but you get to learn what the person's doing, like, is the person a flashy person? Like, there's nothing on but spoiling yourself, but we can't be driving a Bentley and you pulling up into an apartment. Like, bruh, let's get our priorities straight. Like, what are the things look like, nothing wrong with that, not knocking any cars or nothing out like that, but I'm just saying, what's your investments? Are you looking into investing? Are you like, do you have your house? Or if we're two successful people that we possibly both have our own home, what would that look like? Who would we go and buy two of our homes, or would you move in with me, I move in with you? What would that look like? That's part of building your future together, to see what that person expects. Like, are you into traveling out if it meant that financially it would be better for us, right? So sometimes that we both happy and content with what we are. And as you get to know if the person adventurous, would you be able to start new for the both of us, if it means that living in a city versus another state or a country would be better for us to build where we want to go. So you kind of have to start imagining that person being with you, right? So spending habits is big, because yes, are you going to go to the Coach store and spend $1,000 on a belt or a shoe, when in fact you probably have student loans and you have a 400 score of credit? Like, what are we doing to repair that together? And if there's something that's lacking, and that's how you get to learn a person's strength and weakness. If you don't have those kind of conversations early on, now we're engaged. I have a ring on my finger that you probably spent $4,000 or $5,000 on, and then we got to go live in an apartment. Why? Or we got to finance everything. Why? Because it's like, I'm not materialistic. You could have easily probably spent 1,500 to 2,000 on that ring, and then pay down some of your debt, or even less than that. It's not about being flashy. It's not about saying, I'm buying you the most expensive gift. I'm buying you the most expensive electronics, because we're going to be building together. I want you, not your pocket. Yes, your pocket matters as well, because money, you can't really live without money at all. But at the same time, what's that spending habit looking like? Because like I said, I'm not about, yes, we can splurge, we could go to a fancy restaurant, we could do a lot of things, but I don't want you to feel like, oh, you have to provide, you have to do this, you got to buy me bundles, that's $400 or $500, you got to buy me this, I got to get my nails done every week, every 2 weeks, no, we got to, sweetheart, you would look just as good and that polo shirt that costs $80 versus that Walmart shirt that costs $5. It's all about how you rock it. It's not about the price tag. That's who I look out for. When that money comes that we want to treat ourselves, we're okay. You're going to be just as grateful, whether it's a name tag or if it's just a regular store brand, department store tag. That's big key, because a lot of times, God forbid something happen, a person loses their job, and this, you're already at the engaged stage or marriage stage, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I can't live that lifestyle, because you don't spoil the person. That person feels like every 2 weeks you got to give them money, every 2 weeks you got to do this, and now it's like, well, you can't meet this quota anymore, and that person feel like something is changing in this relationship. It's not the same.
That's what they
So
really
spending
need.
habit is pretty big. And the last one before we go, number 7 is children. And I think we tackled that a little bit today too, and before, asking the person what they want, right? And not just, do you want kids? I guess sometimes in the future, but maybe rephrasing it, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would life look like for you in 5 years? Instead of saying, where do you see yourself? It could be like, to fully focus on my work or my project, getting a promotion, whatever. But what does 2025 looks like for you? What would you want it to look like for you? Because it's not a easy yes or no question. It's more or less on a person, not just, you're looking for career, you're looking for household, you're looking for a relationship, where a person could be like, well, in 5 years I'll probably see myself in a better job, my salary will be better, I probably see myself married, and possibly have kids. Or sometimes they maybe married, hopefully you're by, they'll probably throw a little flirting in there with you somewhere. Another person might be like, I see myself working hard or starting my own business, being married, and traveling the world.
And not necessarily have kids right away.
Yes. And for you hear, I would hope that you're part of it, and you hear, oh, he wants me in his life, so he's the one. But knowing that that's his 5 years, your 2 years is married and possibly have your first child. 5 years, probably like, we're gonna have Keisha, Yolanda, Adam, and you probably gonna have like a couple of them running around, and probably driving a van now because you're a soccer mom. That's probably what that looks like for you. So you kind of have to get that. And then it's like, you get married, and it's like 2-3 years down the road, and it's like, well, I want to have kids. Like, no, babe, I told you I'm gonna focus on my career. I want to travel the world. I want to spoil you. And you're like, no. So that's a conversation to have. Are you ready for our question of the day?
Of course I am. Shoot.
I'm excited about this one. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, so quick question.
Come on, cuz.
Uh, okay. Please don't hate me, okay? Because you love me. Remember, guys, she says she loves me every episode. And yeah, so you can't hate me. So, this is the scenario. Your child is in the coma, and unfortunately, your child passes away. And the doctor's asking, can they be a donor? Would you allow them?
One of my favorites is gonna get you for me, Fab. They are because I don't know where you're coming from with all those questions. That's why. That's why you
I
prep
told
me.
you. I
Don't
said, don't
hate
hate
me.
me. I said, don't hate me. I said that.
Um, would I choose if it could save someone's life? Uh, I don't know why it's so hard to answer this question. Your child passes away. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing you do. You know when you present two answers, the what you really want to say versus what you are saying. What I am saying is, right, it is the right thing to do.
To do.
Right, your child has passed away. Hopefully, the organs that the child, your child still have, could hopefully help somebody, save somebody's life. So that is the right thing to do. That's what I'm saying. Now, what I really want to say is, I don't know, because we tend to be selfish as human beings, and the emotion gets to us so much in situations such as this, which is trauma, that we let it get the best of us and we don't really think objectively. So I know that there's a strong possibility that I will not be objective at all, where I will be selfish and say, no, no, no. But really, what should happen is your child has passed away, ma'am. They're gone. They're gone. They're no longer here. Their organs could save someone else's life. Do you put this together? No, yes. It's hard. So I cannot give you that definite yes, and I cannot give you that definite no. But I did answer your question. So
You did.
I'm doing
And
exactly what we talked about earlier.
I think I'll just have to go with you because, like you said, there are things that you want to say, and then there's the things that you should say. And part of me is saying, this is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I can't picture my baby cut open. But then part of me is like, what if the scenario didn't end in my child passing away? What if the scenario was that my child is actually waiting for on a donor's list? Wouldn't I want a parent to be as caring to save my baby?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I love the fact that you did that. For the parent that is on a donor's list, it changed everything.
right? And I said, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, it could be so many people, right? So many people in terms of being an organ donor. And it's unfortunate, but more lives should not be lost because of me not wanting to let go.
Yes.
And I think that's why I said what I want to say versus I want my baby to go whole. I don't want to feel like, I think it's more emotional more
Yes.
than anything. It's the idea of saying, when I look at my baby for the last time, the heart won't be there. The eyes may not be there for whatever reason. And I think that idea would hurt more, but
Mm,
it's something that I have to deal and cope with. It has nothing to do with saving possibly 10, 15 other lives, right? And
correct.
I think by knowing that my baby has helped and gave a second chance to 15 to 20 other people would make me feel better. And you watch movies a lot of times where people would find the families of their donors and be like, thank you for saving my child, thank you for saving my husband or
Yeah.
my wife, because this is your child's heart. They're able to, this child, and I don't even care to know who it goes to. It's just the fact that to know that this would help a person would make me feel a lot better, right? But as a parent, that initial hurt of knowing it, like, it's okay if you've been in that situation or whatever the case might be. It's okay to be selfish. It's not, I'm not saying anything if you oppose it. You're okay. It's your child's, your decision. You have that power of choice. I don't want to parent shame anyone to feel like, well, I don't want nobody cut me open. You have that right, and this is why they asked you, right? I'm just saying, for me, it would hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, it might be something that I'm not going to sign the paper that same day, the same hour, probably right away, because that initial grief, I feel like I haven't dealt with it, is so new. And the first thing you come and ask me is cutting my child open to take their organs. I think initially everybody won't jump into it right away. But yeah, that's why I said that's a tough thing, because we don't ever want to think about those things. And I just had to switch it. I always look at the positive of things, right? If you guys have noticed that about me. So when I switch it to, what if my child, my baby, no matter what age, needed a heart, needed a liver, and here it is, John Doe had to die from a car accident that's a perfect match for my child. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. We're happy when it's in our favor, but when it's for other people, oftentimes we shut it down. So I always find that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So if I make that child have a future in their life to become the next NBA star, the next author, the next president, the next whatever Olympian, it doesn't matter. It would make me feel better. And you would, the rewards would unfold 10 times more. So this was our show, and we ended. We need to change it. Oh, this was so sad because I'm already thinking about life support and my baby dying. But
Positive
as you
note.
know, our question of the days and scenarios are always wild and crazy.
It really
So
takes us
thank
there.
you for watching, and um,
See
see
you
you
next
on our
episode,
next
episode 10,
episode.
season
We have
1.
something special for you guys, so I hope you guys join us live
Yes.
for sure.
Yes. And don't forget to subscribe, comments, and the email is on your screen down there somewhere below.
Yes.
And with that said, yeah, wherever you are in the world. Positive notes.
Thank
Edit.
you for watching. Bye. Have a wonderful, amazing holiday season. Stay
Yes.
safe.
Don't be a Grinch like me.